A very warm welcome in the class of numerical methods. In this numerical methods paper, today our topic of discussion comes under numerical integration. And in this numerical integration, already we have discussed that we are going to state and also apply more than one methods. Today, the first one we are going to discuss is trapezoidal rule. We are going to learn first the working rule of trapezoidal rule, as well as we are going to see that why the rule is coming in this form. Most importantly, we are going to see that where we are going to apply this trapezoidal rule and how we are going to be able to find out the result of a given definite integration by using this trapezoidal rule. So let us start our journey for this topic. Now, if we want to state first of all the working rule, then obviously we can express it that a to b fx dx, if this is our target to find out the result, where a and b are given to us and fx is given to us, and we are trying to find out the result of this integration. Now, before stating the working rule, I just want to say one thing. We are going to take x0 as a and xn as b, and along with this question it will also be given that depending on how many subintervals we are trying to find out the result. So if it is given as n subintervals, then we are going to find out the step length h as xn minus x0 by n. So here it will be b minus a by n. So we can just think about this, that if this is my x0 and suppose I am trying to find out which is actually equal to a, and this is my b. So if my n is suppose 3, that means I want to denote it by x3. So if I want to distribute this particular interval into 3 subintervals, then this is going to be my h, this is going to be my h, and this is going to be my h. So b minus a by n will be my h. So just as example, if we take b is equal to 3 and a is equal to 0, so as n is equal to 3, we are going to get the h as 3 minus 0 by 3, that is 1. So one most important observation is here that these points are having equal spacing, and that spacing is denoted by our h. Now these are the groundworks what already we have done. So the function is given and we got these things. Now if someone is trying to generate one table like this, where we are going to find out the relationship between x and fx. To be specific, we can denote fx as y. So in general, if I am trying to write it is x0, then x1 as it goes on up to xn, so it will be fx0, that is I am denoting it by y0, y1, and it will be yn. So one thing is very much clear to us, that if x0, x1 up to xn are known to us and fx is given to us, then y0, y1 up to yn, these values we can calculate. So let us have some example. Suppose we have fx as x square. Now as we are trying to find out x and fx, So we can write it as x0 here, then the point will come as x1, then x2 and then x3. So x0, then the next one is x1, then the next one is x2, and finally we are going to get x3. So what is my x0? Here my x0 is 0, x1 is 1, x2 is 2 and x3 is 3, as my h is equal to 1. Now putting x0 in fx, that is 0 square, it will be my y0, y1, y2, y3, but for this specific example, what will be my values? Y0 will be 0, y1 will be 1 square, that is 1, y2 will be 2 square, that is 4, and y3 will be 3 square, that is 9. So can we state that if this problem is given to us, we get what are the things given to us? A, B and N and Fx, they are given to us. So we can calculate H, we can calculate x0 starting from xn, we can calculate y0 from yn. These values are possible for us to calculate in a tabular form. Now if the working rule for the integration or the value of this integration I is creating the forms related to these values, then can I find out the result of I? The answer is yes. So we have made the groundwork. Now we are going to state that what will be the working rule for this method. So now let us take it. So I is equal to integration a to b fx dx with n number of subintervals. It will be h by 2 y0 plus yn plus 2 into the remaining values of this function, that is starting from y1, then y2 plus dot 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 plus yn minus 1. Now from engineering point of view and as per our requirement, I am stating this, but obviously from where and how this particular formula came, I will discuss. Now look at this. H is known to us, y0, yn, y1, y2 up to yn minus 1, all these are known to us because we have calculated. These are provided and these are calculated. So if I take the problem what was given in the last page, if I write from 0 to 3 x square dx, and we got, if we can recall, h is equal to 1, n is equal to 3, and we got one table like this: x, y, 0, 1, 2, 3, it is 0, 1, 4 and 9. So we can find out it as 1 by 2 y0, that is 0, plus 9 plus 2 into the remaining parts, that is 1 plus 4. So what we get? Half, then 9 plus 4 plus 1, 5 into 2, that is 10, that is we got 19 by 2. So if we follow the rule and if we follow the process, we can find out a result. Now two questions are coming. First of all, is it equal to the exact result? If not, then up to which functional expressions we can get the result to be exact, and otherwise when we are going to get the results are not exact. So look at this. First of all, we will try to find out the result of this integration because it is possible for us to find it out. But our primary motto for numerical integration is not to find out the result which are possible for us to find out exactly. We are learning numerical integration because for those particular approaches and problems where the classical method fails, but still when we are saying one method, we have to check whether the method is working in a proper manner for the known expressions, that is, it is our testing phase. So we know that the result of this integration is x cube by 3 and it is 0 to 3. So what we get, 3 into 3 into 3, 27 by 3, that is 9. But what we get, if I just do it in the fractional mode, it is 9.5. So we are getting that there is a gap of 0.5. That is our error. Question is, why this error came? Next question is, can we minimize it? Next question is, will it be ever same as the exact one? And also we can ask so many questions for our analytical purposes, and we will obviously discuss those things when we are going to get the dialogues. Now we are going to show you one more problem, but before that I just want to check one thing, that instead of having n is equal to 3, if I take n equal to 2, then what will happen? X, y, then x0, x1, x2, x0, x1, x2 will be, then x0 will be 0, x1 will be, our h will be here 3 minus 0 by 2, that is 1.5, so it will be 1.5 and then 3. So 0 square will be 0, 1.5 whole square will be 2.25 and 3 square will be 9. And the formula here will give us 1.5 by 2 y0 plus yn plus 2 into y1 only, so 2.25 means 4.5. So what we are getting, 4.5 plus 9, that is 13.5 into 1.5 by 2. Now we have to see that this result is closer to 9 than the previous one or not, and I just want to know whether you are having any idea regarding this answer. Yes, it is going to be not too close to 9 than the previous problem, because when we are increasing the number of subintervals, we are decreasing the error. So this will obviously give you the better result if you take n is equal to 3 than n equal to 2. Now my next question is, please try to find out the result for 0 to 3 x dx in both the way, the classical one and the numerical one. And in this numerical one means, here I am talking about for trapezoidal rule. Now in the class obviously we are going to discuss it more elaborately. I just want to mention one thing, that is, actually if you have a curve like this, and if you are trying to find out the area under this curve by just trying to approximate it by joining these two lines, so this is your error and these are the area what you are going to calculate. And you can see that if it is A, if it is B, so it will be, I can write it as x0, I can write it as suppose x1, so it will be y0, y1, and the area of this trapezium will be half into this distance, that is b minus a, into sum of these two ordinates, that is y0 plus y1. So what you are going to get is as half, here b minus a is the gap, that is h, then y0 plus y1. Please concentrate in the next diagram. If I have the curve here, if it is my x0, I have distributed my whole range into, instead of one subinterval, two subintervals. So I will drop the perpendiculars over here and I will join this by a straight line and I will join this by a straight line. Now my area under this one will be this trapezium and the area will be under this trapezium. Now if I want to calculate the area under these two cases, what I will get, half. Now this is my h, obviously the value of h is here changed than the previous one. It will be half into h, then you will get it here y0, y1, y2, so y0 plus y1, and for the next case you will get half h, y1 plus y2. From the concept of definite integration, a to b fx dx can be written as a to c fx dx plus c to b fx dx, where c is a point in a and b. So here also, if my target is integration x0 to x2 fx dx, I can write it as x0 to x1 plus x1 to x2, and in this case the result will be added and you will get half h y0 plus 2y1 plus y2. Now I think all of you have already identified that what I am trying to say, that is, this is my trapezoidal rule and this is my composite trapezoidal. What actually we are using as our working rule, that half into h, then first value of the function, then the last value of the function, and 2 into the intermediate functional values. So this is the total topic what I had intended to give you as a pre-learning material, and now I'll obviously just suggest you that you can use these references. There are so many beautiful problems are also given and the concepts are also being delivered in this, and these are the assignments where you can find out the results of these types of questions. In the materials also you have to think and you can just find out the result of the last two problems by the following method. And finally I want to thank you all. Happy listening, happy learning.